Welcome back. Former Dallas County Sheriff Lupe Valdez is looking to take on Governor Greg Abbott in the fall. But first, she'll have to get past fellow Democrat Andrew White in the upcoming May 22nd runoff. Sheriff, welcome to the hot seat.
Thank you.
Hey, look, your opponent says Texas is squandering about $800 million every couple of years on border security. That's not our job, and that money would be better spent on education or health care. Do you agree with that?
You know, as a law enforcement official of over 40 years, I do agree with that. There are certain smart ways that we can do this and less expensive ways that we can take care of a lot of this.
How would you use that money, that $800 million?
Well, there's several ways. You know, we can put it back into public education. You know, when you look at the everyday Texan, they're interested in public education. That's one of the things they care about. We've been going all over Texas, talking to voters and listening, and one of the things they're interested in is public education. And of course, health care and the economy that works for everybody, not just for a few. So I do believe that we can do a better job in the border and still get the job done. Rather, the feds should take care of that job. If we need to assist, there's better ways of doing that.
You've used the line, boys and their toys.
Yes, I have.
So we don't really need to be investing in all of those gunboats and whatnot. That's your position.
Exactly. There's other ways to take care of there. There is technology nowadays. Anywhere you walk in, it's going to let you know. And we can use some of that technology and not use as many funds. And of course, the local law enforcement knows the paths, the people, the organizations, the methods. They know all that better than some folks coming in for the first time from another part of the state. We need to be more wise in how we use this.
Sheriff, abortion and abortion rights has become a big issue in this runoff. Your opponent says he's personally opposed to abortion, but would never stand in the way of a woman's right to choose. You say that's unacceptable. Can you explain that?
Well, first of all, you know, everybody has a right to their own opinion. What I'm against is the way he stated, and he says that he chose because he respects life. Does that mean that people who are pro-choice do not respect life? I have no question with his whatever he believes personally. It's the way he reacts to the others. When you insinuate that you do this because you respect life, that indicates that the other person does not respect life. Women are smart and moral enough to make their own decisions.
But Sheriff, are you worried about upsetting Catholics, and there are millions in Texas who happen to be Democrats? Are you worried about, because that may be their position that they...
And I agree with that, that's fine. But I think Catholics are also very aware that they respect human beings and they respect others. So it's whatever your choice is fine. That's why it's called pro-choice. That's fine. But do not pass judgment on others for what their choice is.
Sheriff, you mentioned education, and the state's share of public education seems to be dropping every year.
Less and less.
What would you do to change that?
Well, the first thing, you know, the state has a responsibility to quality public education. That's one of the things the state needs to do. We need to prepare our young adults to be able to compete in a global economy. We're not just thinking about our little area anymore. It's got to be a public consideration for the global economy. So the state has to pay its fair share and quit dumping on the local school districts and community. We need to stop doing that. And of course, I'm for universal pre-K for all our children, for all Texas children. How they start is how they will end. If they start enjoying education at the very beginning, they're going to continue on all the way through, and we want to make sure that they graduate.
Sheriff, Mr. White says he's the best candidate to take on Governor Abbott because he can attract those independent and moderate Republicans, and he doesn't think that you can, and the moderates are needed to win. Do you disagree with that?
Yes, totally. First of all, we've tried that several times. We've tried that a couple of times and it hasn't worked. I do believe that several folks are going to start coming our direction because of what's going on in the whole U.S. Common sense, that's one part where I totally agree with him. Common sense has got to come back to government, and we've got to continue being the adults in this. We are the adults, and we need to take care of the children and the less and the more vulnerable. So we need to come back to common sense. I agree with him totally on that. But I also think that there will be many more folks than just the moderates that think we need to come back to common sense.
The Fifth Circuit recently upheld the Texas sanctuary city law. Do you think it will ultimately be struck down by the Supreme Court? And you had to deal with the feds coming in when you were sheriff in Dallas County. Your thoughts really quickly. You know,
I wish I could guess what people are going to do. But the right thing is to be decent to all humans. In our laws, we can be decent to all human beings without breaking the law. Some of the things we did in Dallas was assess the ICE detainers and be humane to all the folks that came in. And of course, be part of the Welcoming Cities Agreement, which I believe Houston is also. We signed on to that. So we can do quite a bit, even though we will still obey the law.
Sheriff Valdez, thanks for taking that hot seat.
Thank you.
And we'll hope to have you back
again.
Thank you. Stay with us. There's a lot more What's Your Point to come after the break.